How does a company go from selling dry fish and noodles to becoming one of the world's leading tech giants? Samsung's story isn't just about electronics, it's a story of constant reinvention. Let's dive into the journey of a brand that has conquered almost all industry it entered. In 1938 in South Korea, a man named Lee Bin-chul has just opened a small business called Samsung. But here is the twist. Samsung wasn't selling tech, it was exporting dry fish, noodles, and vegetables. For the first 3 decades, Samsung was a trading company focused on anything but electronics. Then in 1960s, something changed. Samsung took its first leap into electronics, setting the stage for an empire. Little did anyone know this shift would make Samsung a household name worldwide. The real turning point came in the 1970s when Samsung began producing black and white televisions. They were still learning the ropes, but they were quick learners. By the late 80s, Samsung had expanded into semiconductors and consumer electronics, marking its first big success with microwaves, washing machines, and TVs. Here is where Samsung surprised everyone. While most companies focused on one area, Samsung diversified aggressively. They were into construction, shipbuilding, and even life insurance. This approach made Samsung nearly recession-proof, allowing them to take big risks others couldn't afford. Then came the 2000s. Apple had just released the iPhone and the world was watching. But here is the twist. While many brands scrambled to catch up, Samsung went all in, developing their own line of smartphones with the Galaxy series. They weren't just reacting, they were innovating. Samsung wasn't afraid to experiment. They pushed boundaries with bigger screens, stylus integration, and even their iconic curved displays. And while other brands hesitated, Samsung launched dozens of models, testing every possible combination. Some failed, but others like the Galaxy Note became game changers. But Samsung wasn't just about smartphones. This was a brand with an appetite for risk and a commitment to innovation. Take their investment in OLED technology for instance. At the time, it was expensive, complex, and largely unproven. Yet Samsung poured billions into OLED display and it paid off. Today, Samsung's OLED technology powers not just their own devices, but also displays for competitors like Apple. It's ironic Samsung competes with companies that rely on its technology, making them both rival and supplier in one. But here is where Samsung's story really gets interesting. While other tech giants focus solely on electronics, Samsung products span from your living room to your kitchen to your pocket. Imagine a single brand that makes your TV, fridge, washing machine, and smartphone. Samsung creates that ecosystem. More recently, Samsung has pushed boundaries with foldable phones. Some questioned if foldable phones were just a gimmick, but Samsung doubled down. Today, they dominate this category, proving that even in the ultra-competitive smartphone market, they can still lead with innovation. Samsung's story is about much more than just technology. It's a tale of resilience, reinvention, and relentless ambition. They are not just competing in one industry, they are leaders in multiple fields. From displays to smartphones to home appliances, Samsung continues to shape our world in ways we often overlook.
Some of the Samsung appliances like their fridge and their smart monitors come with a built-in SmartThings hub as well, but without Zigbee capability. Their Zigbee dongle is sold separately, which is a bummer. With Zigbee capability, you are then able to add Zigbee devices directly to the SmartThings hub. Some exceptions like your Philips Hue, where you have to link to their bridge.
So the next time you pick up your Galaxy device or turn on your Samsung TV, remember the journey this brand has taken to get there, and who knows what Samsung will tackle next. Keep an eye out for our next video for even more insights into brands shaping our world. Ciao!